those naysayers, right? Great point to bring up because building any community is really, really tough. And I've found like the biggest naysayers have been my friends. They're like, "Oh, you're posting again. Oh, I just see your face all the time." And I'm like, "I know, man, I'm building something." Like the good news is like but you're seeing it all the time, right? "Yeah, I'm gonna have to unfollow you if you keep posting all this stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep posting all this stuff. If anything, I may not be successful, but I'm consistent." Okay.
Ooh.
That's always been our thing. Like if we're gonna start something, we will do it for an awful long time. I don't think you have success in anything. When we employ people, we're not saying like you're going to be amazing next month. We're saying like within this year you should be pretty great, and year two you're going to be amazing, right? You know, we and because we can work together and get there. And same thing if we right now we're in big old nose to nose conversations about starting a TikTok within the business. It's not because I don't believe in TikTok. It's not because I don't think it's a thing. Like it's not when Clubhouse came out.
Ah,
I didn't think that was a thing, right? I was specifically saying like no to the team. I'm like, trust me, this has got about 11 and a half minutes. But I get it, right? TikTok is a real thing. But if we're going to do it, we're going to post 30 times a month. And we're going to do that for 3 or 4 months. And then we're going to maybe pull back a little bit so we don't kill ourselves. But, and plus, we're going to engage on it every day. We're going to go and like other people's comments. We're going to speak to them. We're going to
yep.
help build a community there. And it's so tough. But literally, the people usually who are closest and like friendliest to you are and maybe they're not the biggest naysayers, but maybe any little piece of negativity that comes from those people that you love, it's just right in the feels, you know.
Yeah.
It always shocks me.
So how do you combat that? How do you overcome those naysayers? What do you do?
Well, I wrote this book. I did write a book, but very, very quickly in an afternoon. Um, and it's a swear word in it, so I'll send you a copy. No,
Yeah.
so I
I'd
was
be
asked
bursting up
what
a storm. Sorry, LinkedIn.
I was asked. It's a self help book to a degree, but I was asked what my saying is. I was asked all the team, and I was like, if I was going to put like if it's going to be a thing, like what do I say? And unanimously, everyone was like, "Go fuck yourself." And I was like, "Okay." So that is the name of the book.
I love it. I love it. But you can't say that though to the people. I mean, you can say it to your friends and they'll still be your friend, but you can't mean it, because
No, no,
their opinion matters to you. So
it does. And to be perfectly honest, I literally had conversations with everyone who had come back and said that. I'm like, "Hey man, you're ruining my Instagram feed. You post all the time." I'm like, "No, it's because you don't post, right? And you got like 7 people you follow. I'm one of them. Make it 6, right? Because I actually made the choice probably actually similar time to when we came to Florida and spoke at FLBlogCon, because unlike the UK, or actually unlike the US, rarely does the rest of the world use Facebook for business interactions.
mm,
It just isn't a play like you're like, "Whoa, this is where I speak to my gran." No, I don't wanna. No, not business, right? Even though absolutely the demographic of people who are using LinkedIn are decision makers, right? So and the paid ads make sense and such, but it just doesn't seem to be a place where I'll get into a lot of like messages on Facebook Messenger with people in the US, and we'll do some business. We'll talk about some stuff, and it'll become a thing, whereas not in the UK. Um, which is always a strange shocker when something's just completely different in 2 places.
yeah.
So, for me, I kinda made the decision after speaking to yourself and then targeting a lot of Florida to speak to, and when we came to, speak at the conference, I then met with, like, 27 agencies in 4 days, a bunch that we still work with today. Um, so I was really kind of I had to tell people basically, like, "Don't follow me." Like, we're on WhatsApp. It's not I don't take offense at it whatsoever, but this is what it's gonna be, and this isn't necessarily like me. I'm not posting pictures. I can say I'm not posting pictures of my cat. I'm definitely posting pictures of my cat, but I'm not posting pictures, like, just for funsies like everybody else is. This is what I do, and I need to be seen to eat my own dog food. I need to show that we can have success on Instagram because the next client I might speak to wants to use Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok. Like I have to show like, well, here's ours, and look, we do it well. Jump on this train, right? So I genuinely had to say to those naysayers who are friends of mine and be like, unfollow me. But there's some great stuff coming up as well. You're gonna miss out on me sitting down with Brad and Angelina Jolie if you do that,
Right.
you know?
It's so good. So I have a TikTok account that's just a personal one, only to learn how to freaking use it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you can advise clients on how to use something by reading an article. You need to be in there actually experiencing trial and error, figuring out what the heck are trends even, you have to be on there. And it was funny because I had a personal friend saying, she messaged me, she's like, "Oh my God, I just saw you on TikTok." And I'm like,
Is that not allowed?
well, I messaged back, I'm like, "Well, yeah, I've got to learn it for a client, but actually, I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun." So,
It is.
yeah, I've actually enjoyed it. So,
I got to admit, my biggest problem with TikTok has been, it's like, oh, damn, was that an hour? Oh, no. I was just wanted to have a little play around for 10 minutes and see how to use this thing. And 2 hours
you
later, and
you and Joe Auer, I introduced TikTok to Joe Auer, and he was there just laughing and scrolling, and he saw an hour went by, and he's like, "Oh, damn you for introducing this to me."
because you know what? I would never sit down and be like, I'm just going to watch an hour of YouTube now. But I will absolutely somehow watch an hour of 30-second minute or minute videos.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Isn't it just? So for someone out there right now, right? Community is necessary. And I think that is a more and more understood thing. Once upon a time, you'd have salespeople going out to try and build a community. And now it's kind of flipped, and really marketing your business, marketing yourself, your brand is how you get yourself out there. And then sales is basically making it a monetary transaction to do something afterwards. But it's not just people going and being like, "Hi, you may not have heard of ABC, but the good news is we can help you with your thing." I did that for years. Yes, horrid. So, as we understand that communities are important to us, just as a basis, how do I even begin to assess who I might want to put in my community, right? You're saying it's about being a niche. I don't want to start day one trying to go for everyone and then 6 months later be like, oh, okay, these are the guys. How do I start a community with a bang from day one?
Yeah, so, it depends. Um, I would always say go back to your why, your mission. And I have a chapter called RE in the parentheses, writing your mission statement. So if you don't have a mission statement, you're going to write one. If you have one, chances are your employees don't know what it is. And so you need to rewrite it so everybody does. Because
Maybe.
nobody is going to give you money just because they like you or just because they want to. They are giving you money because you fulfill a need for them, because your service solves a problem for them. So you have to go back and figure out what your why is. And so I tell people to write the mission statement, especially if you're a company. You need to answer three things: what you do, how you do it, and that's your differentiator, right? And why you do it. Those three things must be in your mission statement: what, how, and why. And I often say, if you can't figure that out, have your owners or your C-suite do the what you do
Hmm.
with the product. Have your employees say how you do it. How is your process different? How is your service different? And then have your customers, the ones that you do have, answer why. And that will help you, that will help to guide you. So once you
So
have
powerful.
once you have that why or that mission statement down, every piece of information, every email you write, every social post you do needs to be addressing either what you're doing, how you're doing it, or why you're doing it. It guides everything. And if you do that successfully, you are then going to start attracting the people that need your service
Mm.
or are going to come to you because of the way that you're different or are passionate about your why. And
Mhm.
that's how you start finding the right people.
So the amazing thing is, it seems simple, uh, but how often does anyone ask their customers why they bought their thing?
Yeah, and that's one of the things is that I write about strategies to get feedback from the customer. It's not always easy. So,
It's not easy.
certainly you can do email surveys, you can do email replies, you can do social polls, which of course then anybody can answer on. You can, do one-on-one with customers. It is a challenge. I do give some strategies on how to do that, but it's something that has to happen, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to share one story from a friend, Danya Shea, who her company is FervorWorks, and she consults companies on empathetic listening. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like that big a deal, right? I'm thinking, sorry, Shay, if you're watching, but she actually put me in my place by this story she told. So, Jay, she was hired by uh, Rip It, this company called Rip It, and they do uniforms. So They do baseball uniforms, softball uniforms. Think of like Pop Warner, like the age groupers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So big, big market. And she was sorry, she was called in to consult with them because the softball was really lagging. They're like,
Okay.
hey, we're a leader in baseball. What's wrong with softball? So she's looking around and she sees it's a bunch of middle aged men. So she said, well, have you actually talked to your target audience about what their needs are? You're assuming what they want in a softball uniform. No, we haven't. So they get out of the building. Great tip. Get out of the building, go talk to your customer. So they set up interviews, one on ones at a softball tournament. They sat down with people, they talked with them, and they found out what they needed. And Jay, the number one biggest concern with these tweeners girls was that they were going to get their menstrual period during while wearing a softball uniform. And
Amazing. Stop giving me white outfits through and through.
yes,
Like,
yes, yes, and make them thicker cloth and period proof and all of that. And it was a game changer for them.
but
That
hang
was
on. So wait, the middle to old age white guys didn't think of this. And
and that's the whole point. They assumed what their customer needed. As soon as they made that change, that was their how they did it, their differentiator. They communicated that through the messaging, and guess what happened to sales?
it's so simple. And I remember I've been in businesses where it's been like, right, we're going to go and we're going to speak to all of our clients, all the active clients right now. And that task was given to like the most junior member of the team, or not someone who's necessarily an outbound person, right? They're like more dealing with admin, and now they're having to send messages to everyone. And now what they're receiving is like customer service messages, basically, because now people are being asked to say, "Did you like it?" And guess what? Some people are going to be like, "Well, actually, no, I didn't like it. I don't like nothing." Sure, that's literally the point. Um, but to invest in it and to make it a thing, and like I literally suffer for it. I'm a salesperson at GL Pro. I don't want to go back to people and be like, why didn't I get that deal? Because I'd be like, well, why don't you love me? But it's not something that we'll necessarily do. Or if a client's left, I don't want to go to the process of them and go and do an exit interview and be like, who's terrible, or who am I going to have to go and tell off? Was it something went wrong? Did we do something bad? And vice versa. I think there's also, this underlying feeling of like they're happy. Let's not rock the boat. Let's not go and ask them if they're not happy, because what if they say they're not happy and then, oh no, I've started this. But actually, there's nothing more powerful than that. And opening that dialogue, the more we've had it. Had a client recently, we've had some changes in staff, and they came to me and said, like, actually, at the end of last year, we were thinking of like leaving you. And this isn't a conversation when I've come back and been like, hey man, we're going to charge you more now. He's like, I know. Um, but the amazing thing was, I was like, well, tell me why. What's wrong? It's been for some years. We like each other. Like, you tell me. I don't care if we work together, like, if that's what happens, but like, tell me what's wrong. Because I trust him. I know him. I know them very well. I've worked with them. We've got a great dialogue, right? And he was like, I'm just not being heard. Like, I'm saying things. It's not, it's not coming back to me quick enough. Or, I don't feel like I'm there. And we realized we weren't meeting with him every month. We'd actually had conversation with them. We'd like, do you want to meet every month? And they were like, nah, it's all cool, right? But actually, what happened is the communication fell down. And we weren't having monthly sit downs where we're like, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What'd you like? What'd you hate? Right. Okay. You hate that. We'll go in the opposite direction. You love that. We'll do a whole bunch more. And what that meant is those monthly meetings and that kind of like open dialogue was that things didn't fester and become bad things. So I think it's so smart to like put a policy in to be like, go back to everyone, just say like, hey, we're just looking at ourselves right now. And who looks at us more than you guys? We love you. Tell us about us. What do you like? What do you hate? Because that's such useful data. Even if you just find someone thinks you're the absolute bee's knees and you haven't done anything wrong ever, well, great. Now you can target that type of person from now on, because they love your stuff and they've got no problems with it whatsoever. And you're going to be able to sell to anyone who's like that forever. And they're going to be like, oh my goodness, it's so good.
Well, the hardest conversations often are the most productive, even though they're incredibly hard to
100%.
have.
100%. So, Bess, look, we'd like to try and keep this under an hour so people can enjoy during the lunch with a sandwich in one hand and a earphone in the other. just like it's some sort of gramophone. So,
I've done
so
this before, so
this is right. So in the links, for any of you watching on LinkedIn Live at the moment, we've put a link to my book, because thank you, Tony. I really appreciate that. However, we're also going to put a link in for Unio, the art of building an intentional community. Was I
yes.
close? Did I get that right?
The art of intentional community building. You
Oh, God,
were
you are right there. I was right in the pocket. So, Bess, if someone wants to buy the book, where can they find it?
yeah, so Amazon, anywhere you can access Amazon in all markets around the world. And we also have, we've just launched a new course, Become a Master Community Builder. It's on the website as well. So buildwithunio.com. That way, if you don't want to read, if you're not a reader, you can take the course. It's basically the same information. So you could do that instead.
And the amazing thing is there as well, I've read books in the past where I'm like, cool, I get it. Right, and then I try and put stuff into actual action. I don't have the support to do it. And I'm going back and reading the book and being like, do I have to read the whole thing again? Oh, no. Right. I just want to, like, there was that section that was amazing. So incredible. So anyone out there who is looking to, with help for building a community, first buy the book because it's really well written. It's fantastic, right? But secondly, if you're looking for a course, look who's going to tell you stuff. She's lovely and she knows all the things, right? Right there, Miss Auer. And you never know, you might even get to swoon as Mr. Joe walks past in the background. I saw him earlier and I'm still sweating. So, Bess, thank you so much for joining us on the Daily Show. I really appreciate it. Mr. Mason, take us to the bridge, sir.
Thank you, guys.